Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Acanthosaura Round Table. It's been around 6 months since we did the last Mountain Horn Dragon Round Table, so we figured it was time to get together again and give you guys an update on what's been happening. And of course, we're joined again by the Mountain Horn Dragon crew, JF of Beauregaurd Reptiles, and Eyal and Rebecca of the Responsible Reptile. But before we get talking about Mountain Horn Dragons, allow me to thank Exo Terra for sponsoring this podcast and making this episode possible. Exo Terra makes quality products for our pet reptiles to make them feel at home. Okay, let's talk dragons. Hello,
Hi.
welcome back. Round two, Acanthosaura Round Table, round two for all the Mountain Horn Dragon lovers. We are back.
Yeah. It was long overdue.
It was. I figure actually if we do it somewhere like this where it's like a every like couple of months we do like an update on what's been happening, it could be a good way to sort of compile a bunch of information before we forget it ourselves. I'm trying to take notes and write stuff down, but
So do I, but then I
my
lose the
memories. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know where half my notebooks are. I actually started one that said Mountain Horn Dragons, and I can't find it.
Hmm.
So we're gonna do it this way. This way, we're all fresh on memories, and yeah. And since we're joined today for the first time by Rebecca, why don't we throw it at you and start off with you first? What's your favorite thing about Mountain Horn Dragons?
Um, they don't really run away from me. So I can pick them up so easily and they just stand on my finger and I can walk with them for like at least 15 minutes all over my reptile room and it's just spectacular. That's what
Awesome.
I personally love about them. Yeah.
100%. Do you
But
have?
like the white-eyed skinks, you don't need to look for them for half an hour for them to freeze on you.
Yeah.
Versus,
Is that what the crocodile skinks are? You're both working with crocodile skinks, am I right?
JF is working with.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I don't have any
Oh no!
crocodile.
Okay,
Oh
okay.
yeah, it's like it's
We
our
are,
reptile
yeah,
room. So
yeah,
we're working with them. We just got
Yeah.
a pair, and yeah, they play dead in waves. It's like they freeze exactly where you found them, even if it's mid-run, and so you need to spend like half an hour to find them, and then they play dead with you. With the Acanthosaura, they just play dead on you straight up. So
Straight away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying here, what I'm understanding is out of the all the dragons, and we'll count the crocodile skinks as a dragon. The
Fine.
supreme dragon is the mountain horn dragon.
absolutely.
I mean,
do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite from the species that you guys are working with?
uh, I don't know.
No, we're too
I mean,
programmed for that.
You know, the
Larry.
babies the babies are
babies?
really cool. The babies are
Yeah.
really cool because obviously because we handled them since they were born and
Yeah.
also because they're completely not afraid. So there is quite a difference between the wild caught and the captive bred. So they're just amazing.
Awesome. So that's one of the babies.
So friendly. Yeah, they're
Which
so
clutch is this
friendly.
from?
That's Lily and definitely Zero.
It's
So
probably
second clutch.
Second
second
clutch.
class, probably number 15 or so.
Wow.
Go by the numbers, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Is this from the same clutch that my baby's from?
Yes.
No, this is
No,
from
yours is from the first clutch.
You got the
From the-
first.
okay.
That's the second class.
Yeah, because I was gonna say the baby I have is a little bit bigger than that, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
few months more mature.
Yeah, we both
Yeah,
got
JF,
it from
did you
the
take-
club.
Yeah, okay, I was about to ask you. Yeah, so we have one of the same clutch. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So since you already have the babies out,
Mm-hmm.
let's start there. Last time we spoke, I don't remember yes, they had just hatched.
Yes.
The babies had just hatched. Give us a little bit of a rundown. How did it go from hatching, and then maybe include the expo and how was did you find it? Was there excitement for them at the expo? Did you find that people were relatively interested in wanting to purchase them? That kind of thing. Give us a bit of a post hatching rundown.
So we had we had a few interesting encounters with a blogger named Fadi, and who got one. And
I did.
then
It's true.
we met Adam from Wicked Weekends, and
Yes.
obviously he took 3.
3 or 4?
Oh no,
Oh my
yeah,
God. Yeah,
he
4.
got 4.
Four.
Yes, he
Yeah.
got 4
Yeah.
eventually, which is
Yeah.
It's
really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, he has 1 from their clutch, so he has 3 from the first clutch and then 1 from this clutch.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
And
Are you in have you kept up with any of the other people that have some of the babies?
yes,
Yeah, they're
Okay,
all
so you
so
kind of know
healthy
where
and
they are.
good.
they're all healthy and
Awesome,
good.
that's
So
awesome.
Which is
we have
amazing.
zero
Yeah,
fatality, which is awesome.
yeah.
Um, so one baby was sold even before the expo, and at the expo, people were very interested, but not to the point of like crazy buying. Not that we had a crazy amount to sell.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
It's a new thing. It's a new thing, and they still have the uncool name of the regular reptile, the not exciting reptile, because we're still working on making
Getting in
Acanthosaura
that
great
name.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
I find it that a lot of, especially when you're talking about expos, is people are looking for the cool thing, the next cool thing, and it's like everybody
And
wants
this is them. The people just don't know it yet.
yeah, and this is them, and obviously their horns are a bit different than the others. I mean, they are the condor-sized mountain horns, so obviously their horns are also condor-sized.
Condo-sized. I was wondering. Okay, I was like, what? Yeah. Condo-sized. Yes, yes, they are. Actually, I
Condor-sized
think.
means like, so when I moved to the basement now, to the new reptile room, my 4x4 looks like nothing.
Much smaller. Yeah.
I don't know, it looks like nothing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even here.
Okay. Yeah.
And in my 2-bedroom condo, it was a
Half the
statement
condo.
piece, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was pretty much my living room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what you pay $3,000 in Toronto for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, these are so much easier to keep, but again, it's like they don't have the cool name, and we're working on getting them people excited. There's lots of excitement for them. I'm on Morph Market, and there's a lot of messaging coming from the States.
Awesome.
Sadly, sending this one to the US costs more than this one.
Buying them.
Of course, of course. Which is why you kind of got to do it as a group order with a bunch of people getting on it and either sending a bunch of animals together or yeah. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, it's super interesting. Okay, what about sort of raising them? Did you find that they're any different than keeping the adults? Is there anything that you have to do for the babies that you didn't have to do for the adults? Any of that kind of thing?
There's things that we need to do for the adults that we don't need to do for the babies.
Okay.
But the babies are not afraid.
Yeah. At
Right.
all.
Okay.
They are so, it's like the adults, there's 6 months of acclimating them,
Yeah.
of getting them to not hiss at you even.
The wild caught ones.
Yeah.
Adults. Yeah.
And they take longer. They're super angry at you at the beginning, and then there's all the worries about, are they gravid, are they not gravid? And I mean, it's like they do get sexually active before they're ready, and I think this is part of our problem. It's like the females are getting gravid way before they should get gravid, and we don't know that, and they're in nature, so it's out of our control, sadly. So there's that. There's a lot of health worries with the adults.
And you don't find any of that has been an issue with the
These
babies?
ones are
They're
like,
also they're good eaters. Like as soon as you give them the food, they immediately jump on it. So, and with the adults, like it's very strange. Like sometimes they just don't eat anything for like a week, and I'm like, what's happening? Or a week and a half even. I'm not sure if it's because they're like it's wild caught versus.
Or just being an adult and they
Or
don't
being
eat
an
that
adult.
frequently? Yeah.
It's
Well,
going to be
we will
interesting
only
to
know
see how
when
they are going to
these
be
ones
when they
become-
will be adults. right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe they just go through periods of time that they don't eat at all.
I think that is what it is.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
they only
because-
go through those periods because of nature conditioning, and once you raise them in captivity, they would not go there.
Yeah, I don't know, but all of my mountain horn dragons last. I can't remember exactly. Like I would say around 6 or 7 months ago, like when it was supposedly their time in winter, which I'm sure we'll get to into the timings and the different seasonal changes and all that. But almost all of them barely ate, and I was starting to get very very worried. And then
Mhm.
like like clockwork, they all started eating again. Once the reptile room started getting a little bit warmer, so I feel like
Mhm.
yeah, we'll get into the that in a minute. But
Yep.
I do think it's a time period and seasonal change thing where they stop eating. But
Hmm.
this is also a great transition into asking JF because you mentioned grab it too early and that kind of stuff. So anyway, JF, um, you have since the last time gotten Natalia eggs.
Yeah, I got
Tell us about
two
that. Yeah.
clutches.
Okay.
Oh.
Awesome.
So fantastic. We had the first clutch was 17 eggs, and there were five that were duds.
Okay.
And the second clutch, another set of 17, and that time only two were slugs. So I have a total of 26 eggs incubating right now. So that's quite exciting.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, it was very
Is there?
interesting. So go ahead.
No, yo, go ahead. That's that. Yeah, go ahead. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say it was
yeah.
very interesting to see the process of the egg laying and how the females varying the eggs, how they're using their head to pat the earth down to make sure that the eggs are well camouflaged. The first clutch she laid in an a nest box, which was really easy to find. The second clutch she decided not to use the nest box. She dug all the way under the roots of the ficus tree that I have in the tank. I had to actually go and dig through the roots to access the eggs to pull them out for incubation. And it's crazy. I didn't expect her to have gone that far underground to lay the eggs. So those eggs are growing, developing just fine. Both clutches. So can't wait to see when the eggs are going to hatch. I'm incubating them at around 18, 20 degrees.
Okay.
So it might be a little bit longer than the lepidogasters that Rebecca and Eyal have hatched, right? Because you're keeping them a little bit warmer, if I'm not mistaken.
We
They
I
kept them a
think we
lot
made,
warmer.
well, we kept them at room temp, and our
Yeah.
room temp was ridiculous. That's also why we moved. And I think that's the reason for some things that I don't like. So the next clutches that will come on, lay them. JF, can you
Yeah.
whisper to my
Yeah, they need some
to my
encouragement.
And mine, and mine. I have three gravid females, or what I think is gravid, that are just driving me crazy. Come whisper
Yeah.
to mine as well. Let's get those
uh
eggs out of there.
well, Fadi's closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next
Unfortunately, it's not always like you know, rosy when it comes to having gravid females, like we were discussing prior to the podcast. One of my female lepidogaster just got egg bound.
Yeah.
She had 7 eggs, and there's absolutely no room for anything else to go in to the into her stomach because she was completely full. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, she passed away.
Okay,
So
maybe
7
yeah,
eggs.
maybe let's break that down for a second. Okay, so
Yeah.
before that, the other female, the Natalia,
Yep.
before she laid any eggs, is there any behavioral changes that you noticed that kind
She
of showed you she was about to start laying?
Yeah, she actually stopped eating. See, for
Okay.
me, I didn't see any difference in feeding throughout the year, like you guys were mentioning. She's an amazing eater. However, I would say a couple of weeks before she's about to lay, she stops eating completely. Probably for the same reason as I mentioned with the other female, the eggs are taking so much space inside their body that they can't eat. And then at that point, that's when you know. And then after that initial couple of weeks where she's not eating, then you will see them going down to the ground and start looking for a place to lay. So they dig many little test holes, and eventually they'll choose one. And the egg laying process lasted, oh my goodness, about 9 hours. You know,
Wow.
that like the digging, the laying, the burying. Yeah, so a lot of time was spent digging and then burying the eggs.
and
Quite late into the evening. You know, lights were out, so it was quite the process.
And then did you see any of those same behaviors with the Lepidogastro female that unfortunately passed away?
Unfortunately, she was not digging. It's almost like she had no clue what to do
What to do?
at
Okay.
that point. I was trying to show her different places in the terrarium where she could lay the eggs. She had stopped eating, and then in a couple of days she got very dehydrated, and she just couldn't hold her head up anymore. She passed. But no, that's the thing. I think that the female was too, like we were saying, too young, and that the eggs were too big for her pelvis, and so she could not lay the eggs. Unfortunately, I think that that's what the issue was with that female.
I think that's what happened with Red.
Yeah.
My two first batch females, one of them was very, very egg bound, to the point that I had to like soak her and give her belly massages, and eventually she laid them all in the water, but
And none were good.
none were good.
No.
No, one was good. One was good.
Sorry, one on the second batch that she had.
Yes.
Yeah,
But not the ones that were laid in the water.
but not the one that were
No,
laid
in the water they were all brown and
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that,
But
yeah,
soaking
that's
them in water actually really helps them. Eyal gave them bath as well, so that looks like it helped her as well.
but
And
she
lots of
was
massage.
pretty
but
big. She was just egg bound.
Yeah.
She was at age. She's the one that I
She's
thought
bigger,
will give me
yeah.
the most eggs.
Mhm.
She's the biggest. JF, when they did the test digging,
Yep.
was it at the same day of the laying, or was it like
No, it's prior to that, maybe a week prior.
okay?
I didn't keep track of when they started digging, but it was not the same day. Literally, maybe 3-4 days. I could see different locations in the substrate where she had dug, and like I said, nowhere near the nest box, but in crazy places. So I guess the first time she was like, "Oh my God, I did all that work," and then he just removed the eggs right away. So she tried to be a little bit more stealthy the second time. Just to go back to the baths and everything, I tried that with a female that passed away. Unfortunately, that didn't help. But that's one thing I noticed, though. Although she was not looking for a place to lay, she constantly went to the waterfall, have like a waterfall circulating in the tank. So she was going to the water to try and remain hydrated as much as she could. So she tried, but yeah, it just, there was nothing to do. I tried the massages. I remembered what you had said before, so I said, okay, I'm going to try to do like be a doula like Eyal was, but it didn't work out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They're very hard. It's like apparently they're harder to keep.
Yeah, well, that's
They're very easy.
yeah, that's my my experience with them. I have like I thought it'd be easier because at first they were a little bit more feisty than the Natalia. Like remember I had to syringe feed my female for about 6 months before she started eating on her own, and then I thought it was going to be like really difficult to take care of the Natalia, and then the Lepidogasters were completely the opposite. They were very feisty. They were easy to feed, but then like out of nowhere, they just crashed. Unfortunately, some of them didn't make it. Those that, however, those that like I was able to acclimate properly, they're really resilient. I have a couple now that are well established, and one of them, also I have one of your babies, so same thing. They're a lot more, like you can tell that the captive bred are more alert in terrarium than the wild caughts, just because I guess they're used to that environment. That's what they know.
Yeah.
Also, as I spoke with Fadi about it in texts, it's like I think that an animal that spawns that much and that frequent is probably also an animal that has
Has
high
a high-
mortality
yeah.
rates. So it's just a matter of, it's like when we're talking about wild at the very least, it's like I guess we'll have mortality.
Yeah, and that's it. 17 eggs. Even the female, the Natalia, is quite big, for a mountain horn dragon. But 17 eggs in a small body like that. At the end, you can see the eggs through the body, like the ribs are pushed out. You can actually see the outline of the eggs. And that's how clear it is when they're ready to lay the eggs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So maybe ours are not gravid.
Maybe they're just chubby.
Maybe they're
Or
just
maybe
fat.
they're not ready.
I,
They're
I'm having, yeah, or maybe they're not. I'm having this. So two of my Bintangensis females and the one capper female are like scarily big. Like I'm even considering at this point maybe it's time to take them to a vet and make sure that they're not egg bound, or like maybe at least get like take a look at them from the inside and see. I forgot what the word is, and see how many eggs or what's going on, because it's definitely scary. But to add to a comment that was mentioned earlier, I believe GF, you said 3 or 4 days before day laying they were digging. My capper female has been digging test holes for almost 2 months now.
Wow.
wow.
Yeah. So
So there's
she's.
something she doesn't like in the substrate, maybe.
You think so? I don't know, but she started before she looked how she looked now.
Okay.
Like she didn't even look really gravid when she started, but now the frequency's increased and she looks huge. But that's maybe that's something we could jump to next, actually, substrate and what kind of substrate you're using, because like that could be it. But before we do that, I just want to throw one more thought out there as well. Um, Pictus geckos, uh, breeders don't keep them together in the same enclosures because they have, I believe, they're technically their bodies aren't ready, but they're technically sexually mature at like 3 or 4 months, and the males aren't really waiting for the females to be ready, so they immediately start mating them, and that's why I believe females are prone to dying faster because they're getting gravid earlier or whatever. So it could be something like that as well, as we were mentioning earlier. It could be that just they're able to get gravid at a younger age doesn't mean that it's good for them.
Yeah.
And if they're wild caught, odds are that the male is mating with them at some point somewhere. But yeah.
I'll take the opportunity to play moderator for a bit. Eyal and Rebecca were successful with lepidogasters. I have 2 clutches of Natalia. What about you, Fadi? I think that
Oh
you
yeah.
have success with another species.
I did, yeah. So I guess, yeah. So last time we spoke, thank you, JF. So last time we spoke, I had just gotten eggs from my wild caught Bintangensis. So that was, so I even remember dates, I believe. So the eggs were laid January 16, and it was exactly, I think, 7 months later. So I believe June or July, 7 months exactly. So I'm not gonna do quick maths here. They did, so I had 8 eggs, 6 hatched. Like I said, around 7 months, and I incubated them at room temperature as well. So actually, Greg from Beneath Canopy Exotics,
Yeah.
give him a shout out. He incubated them in his basement, and he said it was around 21, 22 degrees Celsius, or maybe drops a degree, up a degree or whatever. And they hatched in. So you remember you were mentioning, I think the Lepidogaster hatched in somewhere around 4 or 5 months, was it? So it took longer than the Lepidogaster, but it took a lot less than what I was told and what I was expecting. So I was told about a year. Um, and yeah, so they hatched a lot faster. And then, so unfortunately, 4 of the 6 have now passed away. So I have 2 babies left, and the 2 babies are doing great. And I have not been able to. This is probably another topic. There's a lot to unpack here today. So this is probably another topic to dive into. I have no idea why. Um, so I should say 5 came out well. 1 came out looking a little like, me and Greg were both like, I don't know about that one. And then that one lived for 2 or 3 weeks and then died. And then one by one, it seemed they were getting weaker. So not sure what was going on. The last 2, it's been like since number 3, I'll call him, has passed away. Number 1 and 2 are doing great. They're super chubby little pigs. They're eating well. They're growing. They're sitting in the water. So I have hope that these 2 are going to make it. But I haven't been able to figure out what went wrong with the original 4. Now I did at that point I was speaking to Eyal. I believe Eyal's belief. This is a long chain. I believe Eyal's belief was that it was the incubation temperature, that they were incubated too warm, and that was probably what was causing it. I feel like the day or 2 before they were dying, they were looking a little lethargic. They were almost like, pick them up and it seemed like their bones were limp. And this is something that I brought up earlier on the text on the group chat as well, JF. I think that there could be something which I'm going in circles here. I think that there could be something that they're getting in the wild, some form of supplement, that some form of food, something that's giving them this energy that we're not supplying in captivity, because it's just the way they were dying off was. And I for days I was checking every box. I made sure all the parameters were right, temperatures were on point. I was giving them. Oh, the other thing is UVB. I was at first too worried about giving them UVB for long periods of time, so I only had the UVB light on them for an hour or two. Since the last babies died, I'm doing 6 hours of UVB, and so maybe it was they were not getting enough, but that also seems unlikely for them to be dropping off that fast. Um, yeah, yeah. So I don't have an answer to this question. The last two babies, thankfully, are doing great. If anyone has any opinions or why they think the other ones, I would love to hear them. I'm trying to keep track of everything, and hopefully the so the two of the three gravid females I have now are Bentengensis. So it looks like we're going into round two, and hopefully I'll get to try it again and get things right. But I have no explanation of what happened to the other four. Yeah, sorry, I rambled for a while.
The other two females that you have, were they gravid when you got them, or
Yeah, so the mother of the babies was gravid as soon as she came in. So I actually, so I'll give, like, I'll do the bit of a timeline thing. They arrived. I picked them up. I didn't pick them up. I was already traveled when, like, I purchased them. They arrived when I had already left. So Greg picked them up for me. And before I arrived back to Canada, so this all happened in a 2 week period. They were picked up, the eggs were laid, and like I came back in all in a 2 week period. But um, only 8 eggs were laid, which seems like a smaller number than what we were expecting. And then the other thing that Eyal also pointed out was that could have been her second clutch. Maybe the first one was laid in the wild. This was the second one, and she was gravid during transport. Maybe that could be another factor that caused it, but yeah, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, to go back on this first, second clutch,
Yeah,
the first clutch was late, and then 2 months later, I had my second clutch of Natalia,
same female, right?
same female. Right.
So do you remember? Do you remember months? Sorry.
Same.
July 24th was the first, and then 2 months later, September, uh, around the same time, around the 20th or something like that.
So yeah, that throws off our time frame
Mm-hmm.
by a lot.
By a lot.
Oh man, these animals are interesting. Okay, so um, maybe we'll get into that let's start with the substrate first of all. So you guys have had successful. I will go back to as well. The female never buried those eggs. She just scattered them. Um, so they were. She never did the dig test. She never did any of that stuff. They were just scattered. So now going back to the comment, Jeff, you were saying of maybe that there's substrate I have downstairs is not the right substrate for laying. Let me ask you guys two questions. What kind of substrate are you using, and how thick of a layer are you going? Because you also said she buried them very very deep down. And I will throw a small uh, side note here. I do find it interesting that she laid them on the roots. I think we may have said this in the. Oops, sorry. I think we may have said this in the group chat, but I've seen many different species lay against the roots of trees, and it could be like we were saying, probably a protection thing or something. But that's very interesting to see that she did try to do the same thing. But anyway, yeah. So what kind of substrate and how thick of a layer? And maybe Eyal and Rebecca take it first, and then throw it to Jeff.
So we mostly use reptisoil with some bark bits and forest floor. So I do a mix of all of those.
The Exo Terra forest floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was what that's where the Lepidogastid laid, and they were fine with it. This year, it's a bit more moist than last year. And for the Natals, it's the same, but we'll see. The thickness of the layer is they're both in, it's like the Lepidogastas are in an Exo Terra 3x3, so it's all the all the bottom part is soil.
Mhm.
No
My,
drainage layer.
so it's about, I'd say, 2.5 inches.
Sorry, no drainage layer.
Oh, there's a
There is
tiny,
drainage.
tiny.
There is
Yeah.
a drainage layer. Okay.
Yeah. But it's like when Lily laid her and she dug them all the way in, she almost ripped the net
Yeah.
that gets you to the
The,
drainage.
like the separation. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She went as
Interesting.
deep as
She
she
went
could.
as deep as
Yeah.
possibly humanly possible, well,
Mhm.
reptilely
Reptile.
possible. And with the Natals, I have the same substrate. I just gave them a deep side and a less deep side, and then they have a water feature that is big. So hopefully they will like it. If not, we'll see. Now with all the descriptions from JF, I think that my probably they're not even gravity, they're just
Yeah.
fat.
We're not fat shaming, but
Stop feeding them.
Well, that's the other thing is we have to kind of play with the dates and figure out roughly when is their season and all that. But okay, so JF, what are you using?
For me, it's a mix of topsoil, sand, cocoa core. It's a like a pretty much a big mix that I use in pretty much all my tanks. I, however, started adding repti bark to the mix because I think that the way that my terrarium is designed, the water rises too much, and the I don't know, maybe the last 2 inches of soil are like is really soggy, and so that's something that I was worried about. There's about 4 or 5 inches of soil in my tank where she laid the egg.
Wow.
Did she lay them in the soggy part?
She did. Now I don't like. That's what I don't know though because I didn't leave it to chance. I went and I dug the eggs out right away. But do they require that much humidity for the eggs? Because do they lay during their rainy season or just shortly after the rainy season? And so that those are variables that we don't know. And because it's just the first two clutches that I have, I was not willing to leave any eggs
Mhm.
in the substrate to see what was going to happen. Also, um, like I don't know how I would have been able to keep track of what's happening to the egg. Like constantly digging must have like would have disrupted the incubation. So
For sure.
like I didn't know what to do, but I knew that I had to incubate them artificially. But she did lay in a very wet section of the substrate.
That's
So
interesting.
from my research
Super.
about
Yeah,
where they live,
hit us.
it,
And can you also uh just before you say that list, can you also give us this like the location and what species this is targeted towards?
it's like I triggered it with a place where they would have Natalia. So
Okay, so this is
Virachay
Natalia. And
National Park.
sorry, can you say that name again?
Virachay. I have no idea how you would say it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in Vietnam.
Okay.
They literally have April 19 days of rain, May 31, June 29, July 28, August 30, September 28, October 21, November 6 days of rain. I mean, they literally have 4 months of no rain.
Wait, wait,
So
wait.
I think it's
What are the 4 months? Are
only.
those 4 months that you just mentioned the 4 months of no rain?
So 4 months of no rain is December, January, February, and March, which would be their summer, I guess.
And is that when they're supposed to lay the eggs? I
I
think so,
have
right?
no
Because you're
idea.
saying
Do
that,
they lay in
I don't
summer or do
know.
they lay in winter?
yeah,
So yours, JF, your female laid in
July.
July and September,
Yeah.
which would be how what does the rain patterns look like there in those months? Yeah.
Eyal said that it was very heavy. Like,
Comes the question: is are they attuned to Vietnam or are they attuned to nature?
Exactly.
Because if they're attuned to Vietnam, then it doesn't matter what we do, and it doesn't. And how are they attuned to it? How do they keep record of months and
Yeah.
days? I mean, they don't have a temporal lobe.
True.
They only have reptilian brains, so they can't read. It's like, I don't understand how they would. What I think is that they sense changes of temperature
Barometric
and changes
pressures.
of barometric pressure.
Yeah.
and that means that their summer is our summer, so we need to switch. So if they laid in July, it means that they would lay in summer Vietnam. They don't know it's not. They don't know what time it is.
Yeah, but it's again, is it, are they attuned to the conditions that would be similar in Vietnam? You know, like when is the proper time to lay? Because remember we had talked about how we were misting our terrariums, and originally I was doing short bursts of maybe 1 minute at a time, 5, 6, 7 times during the day. And then after talking to you guys, I decided to increase the amount of misting to a longer burst, like about 10 minutes, but twice a day instead. And so after that, that's when the activity started happening.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm back to a more, I would say, reasonable, because when you spray for 10 minutes, no matter what you do, the soil gets really wet. The drainage is not as good as what you would have in nature. So yeah, is it because I increased the amount of misting that I had the activity, and then that
Could be.
triggered the laying? I don't know.
Mhm.
So
And then
could be
another
that
thing.
they lay in the time that is, so their trigger to lay is peak rainy season, and
And so you triggered her to lay, but that also would require her to already be ready to lay for the trigger to just
Well,
have her lay the egg. Or
it
yeah,
yeah, it didn't trigger the laying process.
it
It
triggered the
triggered the
activity,
mating.
the mate. Okay.
Yeah,
mating.
Yeah,
yeah, the
we had that
mating.
too,
Did
Yeah,
though.
you see a lock?
We had that too. As soon as
as
soon
soon
as we
as
started
as you
misting.
sent me that
Yeah.
video
Hmm.
of them doing the dance, so I went to misting of 5 minutes, because I have no idea how you handle the draining after misting of 10 minutes. I mean, I'm doing 5 minutes on every Monday, and I'm still like sucking the water out of this terrarium like there's no tomorrow. Um, so if you do 10 minutes every day, twice a day, it's like,
Yeah,
do you drain it daily?
yeah, I had to drain it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to
Like
drain it. The look, there's, well, now you can't see anymore because it's dark, but there's, I don't know how big is this, 6 inches. There might be 5 inches of water. And every second day, I think I had to take, about 1 or 2 inches out to allow the water to rise again for
Yes,
the other
yes,
misting.
water in Ontario is expensive.
Yeah.
Everything in
I don't know how it
Ontario
works in Quebec, but in Ontario you pay twice for the water. You pay once for the water delivered to you, and then for sewage. Uh, so yeah, no,
Why they don't keep any
they're not
aquariums?
getting 10 minutes twice daily.
Maybe they'll negotiate that. So
You got to collect your rainwater.
yeah, exactly.
I'm also giving them RO water. It's like it's
Oh wow.
high maintenance.
Well, you wanted to mate. That's a price.
That's the price. Fine,
That's
we'll
true.
try.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or maybe we're just looking into it too much, and then they will do their thing no matter what we do.
We could be. We absolutely could be.
Yeah.
We could. It's like I think
More than likely we are.
more than likely we are. More than likely they sense barometric pressure,
Mhm.
because I don't think they have, and that would be what we can ask somebody with a degree in biology. Does the brain have the capacity to know what's 10 minutes and what's 1 minute?
Fatty, you want to talk about it?
I have a degree in biology and I have no answer to your
No.
question.
What do they teach you in school?
But I've seen alligators know the days of the week. All right, as silly as it sounds. In Florida, oh my goodness, all the lights are turning off in the basement.
JF in the wild.
Yeah, I'll finish my thought and then I'll turn the lights on. What's that farm in Florida? The alligator rescue where they keep like a bunch of alligators. I don't remember, but
The Everglades,
yeah, something like that. And
Florida.
Florida.
they feed the animals on Sundays.
Mhm.
And they have different locations where they're going to feed the animals. So when they're during the week, when the animals are on display, most of the action happens near, let's say, there's a beach in the farther corner of their enclosure. And then on Sunday, when it's time to feed, the caretaker goes to the bridge, which is elsewhere in the enclosure, and that's where he feeds them. And every Sunday they will migrate from the beach to the bridge, like clockwork, before it's time to feed. So it seems to me that they have a knowledge of time.
Fine.
Some form of internal clock.
Yeah.
The cats have that too.
No, they don't.
I don't know.
Dogs do for sure.
I think the cats do
Yeah,
as
but a
well.
I
dog
assume cats
still
would.
has no ability to distinct between you left for the day or you left for 2 minutes.
Right, yeah, they don't have, yes, but if you
They don't
feed
have
your
a temporal
dog,
load.
yeah, but if you feed your dog at 4 p.m. every day and then you go at 4:03, you your
Mhm.
dog is there waiting. He knows, you know what I
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
mean? So they
It's like our cat too.
yeah, to
Like,
some
So
certain
it's
extent they
only
do
so
sense
it's only
time
patterns of time that they can.
or patterns of time.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know.
When they should get something, they're on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good doctorate to write about,
Mhm.
like, you know, the reptilian brain.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna do it?
Yeah. Are you going back to
No,
school?
I'm too
You're
old
on
for
it,
this shit.
yeah.
Sorry.
um, Jeff, did you ever witness a lock?
No, I saw the male chasing the female around, but as soon as they saw me, they stopped whatever they were doing. I don't know, did I film the dancing? The female was like,
Mhm.
like wriggling on the branch, like enticing the male. And no, I was not able to film that. Eyal, you did, but I wasn't able to get it on camera because
I
every
got it
time
on
I got
camera.
near, you got it, Fatty?
Buddy got
Yeah,
a lock.
Yeah,
yeah.
because every time I got near the tank, they would stop everything. So they're very secretive.
Well,
Uh,
they're in Quebec, and you have modesty laws. So
Do they?
oh my god!
So I'll tell you one second. Let me
you can see that I love your province.
understand.
I like your province too.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
So I did catch it. I did. Sorry, I was making a note of that moment. I did catch it on camera, and so I got super lucky because I was redoing something in their enclosure, and so I put them in a temporary enclosure for the night, and something about the change of environment triggered it because they locked
Hmm.
in the temporary enclosure overnight. They didn't lock in their or I never saw a lock in their actual like vivarium. But that's why I was wondering if you saw a lock, so we can kind of mark from lock to eggs, like kind of how long it takes. But yeah, I don't know. We'll
No,
have
I,
to wait and
I
see.
couldn't get that. I couldn't get that on camera, or just I didn't even witness it myself.
Yeah.
So unless they're the Immaculate Conception, no, I like they must have they must have done it when I was not around.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously. Yeah.
Jesus, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's super interesting. Okay, so here's another to throw into it. You mentioned increasing frequency of misting and all that. My problem here, I think more than misting, is temperature because uh, heaters now that I have my heaters on, the house is warmer in general. No matter what I do, I have open window. I try to bring it back down to it, but the house in general for 3 or 4 months is warmer. Now, is this also something that's triggering them, or is this making them think now it's winter and then with the ACs on all summer, is that cooling them down? I'm not sure, but that's
Who has
another
a
thing
degree
to.
in biology?
Touche. But that well, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know if this is a question that's been answered by biologists at this point.
I
But
don't have air conditioning in the summer. And so in
okay.
the basement, the temperature sometimes reaches 27, 28, 29 at times.
Mhm.
Even if I'm trying to keep it cool, the amount of terrariums that I have here, the heat produced by the
Impossible.
lights is just it's impossible to keep it lower than that.
Mhm.
And funny enough, in the winter I have more control over the temperature of the room because I can decide to keep it lower,
Yeah.
but I cannot do it in the summer.
Okay. So and so they laid when it must have been around like 26, 27 degrees in your
Yeah,
room then
because
at the point.
July would have been around that time. Yeah, end of July would have been really hot here. So the only place I have air conditioning is in the bedroom, and that's where I incubate the eggs because I was able to keep it at a lower temperature. And now that winter is around, I just maintain the temperature cooler in the room around 18, 20, and that's where I have to incubate them.
Yeah, that's super interesting. We need to locate the temperature and humidity sheets for all the other locations of like wherever Lepidogastri comes from and where Capra comes from, and kind of compare, because here's another interesting question for you
Lepidogasters are
guys.
coming from everywhere, pretty much.
Sorry,
Lepidogasters are coming from everywhere.
are they?
They're everywhere.
Okay.
Natals are still very common. Like the
Capras
only
are
ones that
everywhere
are
as well.
very, very not common are the Bintangensis. That
I
are
think
kind
they
of
only come from one location, the Bitangensis, one locale. Yeah,
very, very specific. So
yeah.
like, it's very hard to know. I found a few locations to reference, and I went with one because if they multiply there,
Yeah, so
then
it must be. Yeah, yeah.
you know.
The other issue that we have when we look at location like this is that you might get the temperature records for a certain area in Vietnam, but you'll probably get it for like one of the bigger cities. The animals come from the mountains. Every 1,000 feet that you climb, the temperature changes dramatically. So even if it says that there's an average of like 29 degrees in Vietnam, let's say, wherever city during the summer or winter, where they're from in the mountain, it could be 5 degrees cooler. So we don't know all
Yeah,
this.
so I went
Another
to
issue.
a national park for that sake,
Okay.
that we have a weather station in, um, for that sake. But also, I mean, we didn't measure. I mean, it's like it's the temperature overall in the park, not
Yeah.
under the trees, probably. So it's
Yeah,
probably where
probably
the
in
weather
the
station is, which is not buried in the forest by the river where they would usually be. So I mean, there's still deviation, and they do live by the river. So I guess they are used to soggy soil more than others. But God knows,
Hmm.
God knows.
I'm gonna label this episode title "The Frustrations of Mountain Horn Dragon Keeping."
Or two people without the degree in biology talking to a person with a degree in biology and getting no answers.
Yeah.
Why did I send you to school, Fadi?
I will tell you, they taught me a lot less about this kind of stuff than I would have liked to learn. They don't ever touch on this kind of stuff unless you like specifically go further and further into it. I really wish, but I also don't want to go back to school. And yeah,
I got a great idea. Next podcast, we should invite Clint from Clint's Reptile.
okay.
Maybe he knows more.
Maybe he knows more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would like to. I would like to find some. So I found a bunch of papers written by researchers in I believe the university was in China, and these guys have the same group of people have written multiple papers on Acanthosaura. So I emailed four of them because I couldn't find the emails for the rest of them, and I have not gotten a single response back. But I would really like to find, if anyone listening can put us in contact with someone over there who's seen them in the wild or has done some form of work over there. Please do, because I think we could benefit greatly from, yeah, just somebody that's even seen what their habitat looks like, right? Um, I spoke to
Not in singular pictures.
yeah, yeah. I think Eyal, it may have been you that mentioned last time that you found a video on YouTube of poachers catching them or
Yeah, and
something.
I can't find it again.
I tried searching for it as well. I can't find it. I just want to see what the environment looks like. But yeah, I don't
It
know.
was
It's very
literally,
interesting.
it looks exactly like my Natal's terrarium looks like. So
Okay.
it's a tree perching onto the river,
Yes.
and the male is straight up on a branch that
Ranch.
sits on the river. And the minute he touches, the other male jumps into the water and swims
Okay.
away.
Yeah.
And one is caught.
And I have seen that behavior only once with my female Lepidogastr. She was on a leaf just above the water feature, and I opened the door to feed them, and she jumped in the water. That was the first time I saw that. Yeah.
So
How?
Pickles does that almost daily. So
Mhm.
she is on the top end of the terrarium and she just dives in. So no steps, no nothing. She jumps from 4 feet up, bloop, into the water.
So how often are all of your dragons spending time in the water?
Over here, I don't see them in the water ever.
Okay.
Unfortunately, again, it's probably they're doing it when I'm not around because I put some duckweed in my water features, and I see them covered in duckweed. So they jump
Yeah.
in the water, they climb back out, and they go in. But I never, or again, that female did it, but that was the only time I saw them uh, in the water for a longer amount of time.
Mhm.
The Natalia, they were going maybe once a week. I saw them drinking, but now I rarely see them. In fact, I think that they found a spot and they haven't moved from there since last September, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
I have the same deal with it's like so they all changed spots now in the new place. Same terrarium, almost same design. Everything is almost the same. They did shuffle because of I guess the temperature changes or whatever. But they have their spots, and you can go out in the morning and come back a week later, and they're in the same spot.
Yeah,
Moved an inch.
right there. That's where my male is on that log,
Yeah.
and it's above the ground. There's no water there, and it doesn't move from there. It doesn't move. So, well, and again, they do, but they seem
They
to
do.
find one spot that they really like, they really enjoy, and they go back to the same spot
Mhm.
all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wonder if
Yeah.
this is just a difference in species or what this is, but I actually have quite a different experience with both the capras and the bintengensis. The lepidogasters are like that. I
Mhm.
can leave for 3 days and come back, and they're still sitting in the same spot. I don't really see them in the water too often. Actually, the baby from you guys
Yeah.
sits in the water bowl quite a bit more than the rest of them, but I never see my lepidogaster males in the water. I haven't seen what I believe is my females.
Mhm.
Fingers crossed. Is females in the water. The capras, um, my male capras spend, I want to say, 70% of their day in the water. They're
Wow.
in there all the time. They never come out. I will feed them like Tong feed them worms. They'll eat them in the water, like they love it. They really do. And I don't know who mentioned something about diving. They will climb to the top of the enclosure, dive into the water, sit there for like 15 minutes, then jump out, climb to the top, and jump back in. It's like they're playing a game.
Mhm.
It's hilarious to watch. And now I will say these are the captive bred babies, and I don't know um, if it has something to do with them always having running water, and maybe they're trying to get like they do enjoy. I shouldn't say it that way. I believe they do enjoy human contact to a certain extent, because it
Yeah.
seems that they do it more frequently when I'm in the room, and it could that be that's why they're ending up more in the water, that they're just trying to get my attention or whatever. Um, but without a fail, they are always almost always in the water. The capras,
Yeah,
the
I feel the
bintengensis.
same thing
Yeah.
about the difference between the lepidogaster
Lepidogaster is the
babies
babies.
and the
The
adults.
babies
The babies spend more time in the water.
are a
Captives,
lot in the
a
water.
lot of time
Yeah.
in the water. They would sit in the jacuzzi.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd come and
Your
all of
baby
them
does
are
that.
laid
Yeah,
around,
Yeah. They're just
hands
like,
up, body in,
yeah.
and
yeah.
they're in there.
Some of
And
them fall asleep like this, like,
they
have
would,
their
yeah,
body in the water and they just sleep like that overnight.
versus the
Yeah.
adults that are
With adults,
not
it would
spending as
never
much time.
happen.
How
Yeah.
deep
So
is how deep is the water features?
Um,
Because mine, they're well, I mean, it's not deep by any means, but 5 inches of water, it's still deeper than a water bowl, and that
Yeah,
can.
so the babies have a water
it's a
bowl.
water bowl.
It's the size of their own body,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they sit in it. Um, these guys, so that's John Wayne, which I am. It's a record-breaking day. He never let me
Yeah.
touch him like this.
That's really surprising.
he
It's
did
the
it for the
first time.
camera.
It's always like so I've been working with him for a while. I'm trying. It's like
This is
he's
your newest Lepidogaster.
the
Mm-hmm.
newest male.
This is the
Yeah,
one. It's also a wild caught one, right? You guys
Yeah.
brought this
yeah,
in
he's
for
wild.
fresh blood. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted two different groups so I can start crossing between
Yeah.
and stop getting things from the wild because seriously. So also I loved how green he is. He's so pretty. John Wayne, you're beautiful.
Coloration is so variable in those animals. I got browns
Right?
with
Yeah.
black, greens with gray head.
Very, very
None of
different.
them have the same look. It's unbelievable.
Even the babies coming out, each one is very, very different.
All right,
Oh,
buddy.
yeah, the baby I got from you, not a single black marking on it. It's
Yeah,
fascinating.
he was like completely red,
Yeah.
right?
Completely red. Yeah, I
We
love
haven't
it.
changed.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Colors. Cool.
So I'm hoping. So I also have a male that I'm hoping that it's a female. I also have a male with no black on it. So I'm hoping that we can. I also have a female that's green, and if none of my males are that pretty, I may send her to you.
Mm.
Just pair her with that male and send her back. uh, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my Lepidogaster to be. I definitely have two males and what I believe is two females, and then I don't know. I don't think your baby is sexable yet.
Well, didn't Eyal use his like flashlight or something
Yep.
to
you
look
you
through?
put them to the back of the phone, and you can see if they are male. You'll see two testicles. You'll see the
How?
blood flowing to the testicles.
I can even see it with our young ones, so you should be able.
I should be able to. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you should, because yours are a
Okay.
little bit older.
Yeah. So maybe we'll wait after this episode. I may be sending you guys pictures. We'll see how it goes.
So but I also think the females are maturing too fast. The males are maturing very slow, by the way, with the Lepidogasters at least. So Rage, that was in the terrarium with Zero, I guess they didn't hatch at the same time. Rage looked about the same size, but he was definitely younger. He is ready now. So he had a prolapse on the first time he tried to engage.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. Tell us about the prolapses.
Yeah, the Pelagasters, mountain horns dragons, they don't like keeping their penises inside their body. They prolapse all the time. So Rage tried to do it the first time, and he was old. It's like I came in, he was slightly prolapsed, and I said maybe everything would be fine. And I came in like half an hour later, it was covered with blood. So I had to take him out of the terrarium and nurse him to health. Now he's fine,
Yeah. That's
but after that, he's I mean,
okay.
Yeah, and maybe also add what did the vet tell you?
Not ready male is unbelievable. So in Lepidogaster, this is a mature male. You see his tail.
Yeah,
You see the penile area. It's like it's big now.
okay. So I think my males may be mature.
Do
So
you
You're
have?
saying did they not get any bigger than that?
This is it's like I think
That's quite big, actually.
now it's the size. It's like I'll show
Yeah.
you. Can you see now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think
this
my
is
males
the
are roughly around
size
the
of
same
the bulge. It's like John
Mhm.
Wayne is tiny. I mean, you can still see the bulge, but it's not like so bulgy.
As a comparison, do you have a female that is
Oh, yeah.
near that we could compare to the male?
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
I'll bring you the two females to see the difference between them, because that's the same.
That's the mother of all the kids. So she had 18 eggs. Nothing. No bulge.
Now, if you put the male next to the female just to compare the size,
Let me bring it.
Because size matters.
It does.
well, we're not comparing hemipenes here. We're comparing lizards.
Acanthosaura porn. Let's go.
That's what my neighbor said the other day. I was walking into the house. He's like, "You're going to go enjoy some lizard porn?" I was like, "No, I'm going to go film some lizard porn."
Male,
The
female.
female is quite well. It seems like the female is larger.
Can
based
you
on what I
can you
see.
turn them around?
Yeah, the females are larger than the males in all of my Acanthosauras.
Let me show you the other female. She's much larger.
This
She's
is
much
so-
larger than the second female.
But you really
can
see the
see.
difference.
Wow.
in
Oh
the-
wow!
That's a huge difference.
She's like
I went
double
to
the
get-
male.
Went to
Yeah.
get
Yeah, but then
one of my
this one
females.
Windows studios are usually
gave me 5 eggs in total.
yeah,
18.
yeah,
18.
a tiny
Yeah,
bit.
that's out of this world. 18 eggs in such a
18
small
eggs from the
animal.
smaller one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in two nines. So
she brought 18. She eventually brought only one.
So JF, my females, or what I think are what I'm hoping are my females, are the same size as the one you're holding in your hand right now.
Yeah, it's hard to tell
It's,
like through the
yeah,
camera,
yeah.
but
I think roughly around the same size, significantly smaller than what Eyal and Rebecca are
yeah.
showing us right now.
So I believe that this is too young still for mating.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna wait till next year for sure on the
Yeah.
Lepidogasters.
yeah, I think we're breeding them too early,
Hmm.
Yeah,
possibly,
I can see. I don't know. Yeah,
and that's
it's hard to
could
tell.
be why we are. And maybe if we're putting them with the right, so I'm not worried about Peanut being with John Wayne because John Wayne is absolutely not ready
I
for.
love the names.
Um, Peanut is not something I worry, but if Peanut, I mean, I had them with a ready male and they did have sex prematurely. So I think Red was gravid prematurely, and that's why she had the
Yeah.
egg binding and all that thing. And Lily went through it because
She's a champion.
she's Amish.
Yeah, and she's definitely gravid. Like you can really like see the eggs right now.
Yeah, you can feel them right when you
Feel
palpate
them.
the
Yeah, and there is a bump
um,
here. Like
yeah.
it's yeah, yeah,
Do you guys think that a male would ever dig?
yeah. For her.
No, no. Like actually,
Yeah.
like
Oh
do you imagine that a male? So like, so the baby I got from you guys
yeah.
digs.
Ah,
Mm-hmm. Right?
interesting.
Interesting. No, yeah. So
Why? I've never seen that.
yeah, she fingers crossed it's a she digs a
Yeah.
lot. So I'm hoping that that means I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
It means she's looking for food.
Do you think that's what it is?
It could
Yeah,
be.
because
I've never seen
they
that
are
behavior.
they mostly eat in nature. They would mostly eat
Mhm.
worms.
Hmm.
So
They like isopods.
Yep.
So
You go crazy for
maybe
isopods.
Could be
maybe
digging for
yours
isopods.
really is looking for isopods.
oh
That
yeah,
could
when
be
I
it.
put
Okay.
isopods in the tank,
Yeah.
I couldn't keep the baby's tank. I couldn't keep it bioactive by any
Yeah.
means.
No.
Yeah.
It's like
They
the
just eat
adults,
them. They snack on
they
them
have
like
them
crazy.
because the two small isopods, they don't mind them. Once they get to size, they would eat them. Um,
What kind of isopods?
any of it, I have a giant mix within my terrariums. I just
Okay.
pretty much like
But
soil.
not dwarf whites, bigger sized ones.
No, yeah, much.
I
Yeah.
have dairy cows, powder
Dairy
blues.
I have dairy cows.
Mhm,
I have
yeah.
the orange ones. I have like whatever comes on sale and cheap at wherever I go. I think Red now is gravid again,
Yeah.
but she's just starting to be gravid because obviously now I have the sex date. That's the prolapse date. That's the first time he had anything.
Okay. So yeah.
So I guess now we know when they had it. So when I said before on texts that I think that they are gravid, they weren't.
Okay. So do you have a rough time scale of how long they have been for?
Gravid? I think
Yeah.
she's starting now. She's starting now, so she will give me the second lay. So that would be, I guess, she would lay in December.
Hmm.
It's the December lay. So I had one. It's like last year I had one lay in October and one lay in December.
So about 2 months apart.
Yeah.
And if I got what we believe is the second batch in January, then the last one would have been November.
Mhm.
So could be, we could be, other than the one off of JF's laying in July and September, we could be going into what's their laying season. Now, whether that's being triggered by us over here and like we said, either the heaters or increased frequency or all that, or whether they're still in tune with their summers in Vietnam,
Are
that we don't
yours
know.
wild caught or
All the ones that are gravid are wild caught. Yes,
okay?
they're not
We'll
gravid
only
from
know
they're
when
not gravid from the wild. Like all of them are gravid from being paired to my males now, but I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
Well,
When
in a year we will have captive bred starting to breed.
Yes.
and before
If
we can
they
see a
breed at the same
pattern,
time as Vietnam, then we know that biologically they're attuned to their motherland. I mean, it's like
Doesn't-
it's
I don't
really
think they can
so
know what's
patriotic.
happening over
I'm a
there.
It's
leftist.
very.
You can't do
You'll
this to me.
always
You're
be
breaking my world.
connected.
My whole leftist agenda here is dying. Um,
I don't think they can feel what, they're not attuned to their motherland, but to the conditions. So if we're replicating some conditions that trigger a certain behavior, that could be the reason. And maybe I just hit the right spot earlier,
Yeah.
and that's why she ended up laying in July, and 2 months later, perhaps next year. And again, I was going to say, to see a pattern, you have to breed for more than one season, because you
yes.
have to have a lot more data than what we have. Perhaps next year, the like, first of all, are they going to lay eggs every year? Is it
That's
something,
an excellent question. Yeah.
like every 2 years? Who knows? I don't know yet, right? So we have to look at patterns before we
Maybe
can
they only lay
decide.
when they're in danger. Like Fadi, when you relocated them, they felt some sort of a threat, and then they started like having
And they
sex.
started. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Or what I relocated them to, like the temporary vivarium, had less hiding spots and they were more in view of each other. And the male immediate, like there's so many factors to that as well. Sorry, Jeff. Not to throw it back, but when had you stopped doing the 10-minute sprays when she laid the eggs?
Yes, I have, because I was getting tired of draining the tank.
No, sorry, not now. Sorry, like when
Yeah,
she laid the eggs, had you
yeah,
already
had
stopped?
stopped. Yeah,
You had
had
already
stopped
stopped.
at that point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I went back down to 2 minutes. 10 minutes was overkill, but
So I shouldn't go
yeah,
downstairs and turn it on for 10 minutes
yeah.
then.
Like I don't know. I honestly don't know what works for them now. I don't know. I just played by ear.
Yeah, for sure, for
I'm
sure.
sorry, Eyal. I'm boring you.
No, no, no. It's an
It,
Yeah,
actual
you
miracle.
know, like
It's been
yeah,
a
yeah.
long day. It's been a long day.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like we'll see, we'll see. I think I really confused their systems this year, so I don't know.
with
It
your
also
move.
it's very
The
hard to
move too.
know. It's the move. It's where they so the old apartment was uh, hell, pretty much. I mean, we couldn't get the place under 25 degrees.
Humidity and temperature wise,
I
it
mean,
was always a
it was
challenge
a
controlling it.
challenge controlling it. So, and then we moved into the end of summer for them. So they didn't have a switched season ish, and they moved to a basement that is, I mean, the basement itself, ambience is around 20. And with the lights and everything, their daytime, they have a gradient. The Natals, for that sake, they have a gradient anywhere between 35 in their basking spot to 22, 23 in their cold side, and it drops to 21 in the cold side and the basking spot at night. It was not the deal back there. Back in the old apartment, it was like steady 25
Okay.
all the time. So we'll see how that confused them.
Now that you know that there's several months of the year with almost zero rain, with 0 days of rain, do you plan on reducing humidities for a certain period of time throughout the year?
I guess so. It's like the decision that I made is to go by what I think is the pressure systems there that would cause this.
Yeah.
So it's like I pretty much like synced it to how it would look here, because obviously the systems in Vietnam are very, very different than the systems we have here. That's why we don't have monsoons in Canada, and we also don't have giant spiders in Canada, which I'm all in favor. So I mean, I kind of try to schedule it accordingly with what I will do with mostly temperatures. So I think it's like I'll send you the chart that I adapted. and that's what I will go with. To a point,
Yeah.
it's like still all my misting systems are the same. So I mean, it's like everybody is connected to the. I have two Mist Kings, so one's running the all the Mountain Dragons and the Emerald Twist Kings, and the other one is running all the rest of the cages. So the rest of the cages are just going through like two bursts a day of a minute. The other one is going wilder with the Monday 5 minutes and all that. But I mean, I can't go too wild unless I hook the mountain dragons on a whole separate system.
Yeah. Well, the winter
Get richer.
is knocking on our doors now, so the air is going to be drier. With I know I have only electric heating in my house, so winter months the temperature drop first, but the heater is drying up the air in the basement dramatically.
Yeah.
Right now, the humidity would vary between 60-50%, and then when winter comes, it'll be like down to 30% in the room. So, that's something that we could play with to replicate a drier season. Like I guess we just have to play with the parameters that we have.
I mean, and we have to
Absolutely.
think about how we can play what parameters we have and how we can adapt them to their
Yeah.
to trick them.
Yeah.
And
I
once
don't
we
know. It's complicated because we're talking about barometric pressure.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about like days, not days, but hours of lighting. Like we can try to mimic some
Yep.
of the parameters indoors, but are they more attuned to the outdoors, like parameters like barometric pressures and whatnot? Who
or
knows?
just the light cycles. It's like
Yeah.
Who knows?
Is that the
the only
infamous
way to know
Larry?
is doing like a proper experiment. It's like one of us is doing that, one of us is doing that, and one person is doing everything.
Yeah, something different. See what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I will say back when I was breeding crested geckos, um, I had there was definitely some correlation of higher babies hatching on rainy days.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So some form of pressure was affecting them, but I don't know how accurate that is.
I never paid attention to that.
Hmm.
Darn, I'll have to start breeding crested geckos again.
Yeah, yeah. See if it works. Yeah, I don't know because I remember like getting to the point where I'd get excited that it would be raining. I'd be like, oh, I wonder. I bet I have something hatching at home right now. And almost every time it seemed to. And now it could be a giant coincidence,
Yeah.
but it's a bit too big of a coincidence to be that. You know what I mean? But yeah. There we go. I think you're right, Jeff. I think that is the infamous Larry.
There
Is it?
is there. Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
so okay. So here's one other piece of news that I haven't announced yet. That is probably pretty convenient to announce on this episode. I now also, since the last episode, have myself what I have dubbed so far because I haven't come up with a better name as Larry Junior. So I have my own. I have a male Natalia. I am in search of a female, but I'm not in a rush for it at all. I've got enough on my plate. So whenever a female comes up, I will probably grab her. But yeah, I have a Natalia now. So woohoo!
Oh.
Yeah.
They're the best. They're my favorite.
Oh my god.
Are they? Yeah,
Amazing.
they're the prettiest for sure.
I don't know. I really like I like the look of the lepidogasters. I like their eyes,
Yeah.
but it's like the connection that you get. It's
Yeah.
like you don't get the same connection with the smaller ones.
Their
Right.
personalities are big.
I can see that. I can see that already. He still hates me and won't come anywhere near me.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
but I can see that. I can see that he's at least seems a little bit smarter than the Lepidogastr. Seems
Yeah.
more like the Capras than the Lepidogastr,
Yeah.
I should say.
So you just have
Yeah.
a bigger brain.
Mhm.
Slightly bigger brain.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Very.
And look wise, I think them and the Bintangensis are probably like the most unique looking of all the of all the Acanthosaura, or the ones we have in captivity so far at least. Did you guys see? Um, I'm gonna butcher this name, so I'm gonna look it up really quickly so I don't say it's wrong. Rubinus. Hold on.
He's not used to much. Plus, I was sticking needles into him.
So somebody not too long ago posted on the Mountain Horn Dragon Facebook group, which, by the way, shout out Mountain Horn Dragon Facebook group. And if anyone here is listening is a Mountain Horn Dragon keeper, please join us on our Mountain Horn Dragon Facebook group. But
Both
yes, somebody.
moderators apparently.
Yeah. You're on with the admins right now. Yeah, somebody posted a Acanthosaura rubrilabriz. I probably said that's wrong. Rubrilabriss. And it looks a lot like a Lepidogastr with a much darker mask, and just the colors are super super vibrant. I don't know if you guys saw this post or not, but
No, I did not. I need to
look up at least the species. Fascinating looking mountain horn dragon, and this person was actually in somewhere in Asia. So I don't remember if they were posting from, but they said like something like, "Oh, I'm in Thailand. These guys are native to me, and I have a group of them in captivity." And so now I'm hoping that somehow he's able to breed them and ship us some to Canada, because they are beautiful, beautiful animal. Yeah.
one day I have a dream of having all the subspecies of
All
Acanthosaurus.
subspecies. Yeah. I think what are they, 14 or 15 now? I think with the discovery of the new one, I think we're at 15. Yeah. That would be a dream for sure.
The male that you have, Fatty, is it yellow or is it a red phase?
Should I go get him? He's not a red phase. He's not a red phase, but I wouldn't. He's almost like a, yeah. He's like Larry. Almost, it's like almost like a light blue. Like, I guess when he fires up, it might be a bit like a yellow, but it's a very faint yellow.
Huh.
You know what? I'll go grab him. I'll go grab him.
Go grab him.
Yeah, we want to
Let
see
him
Yeah.
bite you for a second.
Let's
Larry-
compare our lizards.
Yes, competition.
Show me your lizard.
Show me your lizard.
It is the original reason that I got into the trade.
Who, Larry?
No,
Show me your lizard.
I
so you
wanted
can
to look a
tell.
person in the eye and ask them, "You want to see
Can
my
we-
lizard without being a pervert?" Oh, Mufasa.
Yeah.
So pretty.
He's beautiful. Can they see screens? Larry, can you see? Can you see? Brother?
Let's see.
I don't know.
Of course you can.
They don't care.
You know, the dewlap is out. I don't know if he's seeing it, but
Yeah, Dulap is out. I can see that. Larry is so chill.
Larry.
He
is-
rarely
is-
has it
is the
out.
one that
It's
doesn't care
like
much.
it's just unbelievable.
the emerald tree skinks do recognize other tree skinks on a telephone screen.
They're so smart.
Yeah.
They're
So-
so smart. It's like I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, so you see, I don't know, I'm all backwards now with that camera. So they're all, different. Like, it seems like Larry's head is a lot lighter than the rest of its body, as Mufasa is completely the same color.
Oh, really?
You
So
want
he
to go
doesn't
back?
have, like he doesn't have the stripes. He doesn't have the stripes on his head. Oh, show it higher. No. Oh my God, he is different.
Yeah, no, they're all different.
Ah,
Even
Yeah,
even
much lighter.
I thought it's
even Pickles and Inanna, they're so different.
no for sure, but I thought it's the males are always going to be like with
Yeah.
some sort of different color. The head parts, but I guess not. Interesting.
Ooh.
It's gonna kill me.
Trrrr.
Hello. I am back with a very, very angry Natalia.
Oh,
Very, very angry
oh
Natalia.
no.
Oh, no. Where'd you go? Come here.
Angry?
Very angry. Okay, calm down. Okay. This may take a second.
Yeah.
Hold on, he's okay. There we go.
There we go. Oh,
Oh my
Oh,
God,
look at him.
he's pretty.
It's a
Does he look like
female.
Larry?
Oh my God,
He's
he's
a what?
Looks like a female.
You're kidding.
Well, I don't know. I can't. He looks green to me.
I hope it's a female. That would be a lot easier.
he
Yep.
looks 100% green.
yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
He has left us and is now sitting on the other side of the room. But no, I don't think it's a female.
No. It could be
What about
the
the tail? It's like, do you have the?
The tail? Yeah, I think he's. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a second to cool down. He's hiding behind the camera right now and giving me a very very dirty look.
Aw.
But I'll check in a second. I'm pretty sure. So, I ordered three, and
Only one
unfortunately,
made it.
two males came in and only one of them made it. Yeah, yeah. But from like the second I opened the box, I was like, oh, these are two. Like I was a little, super excited, but a little disappointed that it wasn't a pair. But yeah,
Yeah.
so we have this man here, which we have dubbed Larry Jr. for now, and Larry Jr. is in search of a Mrs. Larry. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm not, like I said, I'm not in a rush, especially since you guys are already working with them. Um, at some point, one of you is gonna have a baby female.
Some point.
Yeah, exactly.
No
So
I
pressure.
hope so.
you
No
know.
pressure,
pressure.
yeah.
No pressure.
But come on.
yeah, exactly. But come on, guys, I need a female.
Yeah, like
well, I have at least another like 4 or 5 months before any of the eggs hatch. So
I would say longer.
I think you will have better luck with JF at this point.
yeah, you're Jeff. You're probably gonna be the first.
Fingers crossed. Jeff, who do you have with you?
this is Mufasa. That's
That's
my
your
male.
male. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we were, while you were gone to get your mail, we were looking at the differences. Like Larry's um, stripes on the head are much darker than Mufasa's.
Can you bring Mufasa closer to the camera, please? If you can. Oh, maybe not. Okay.
Hey,
Is he like my Larry Jr.?
no, not as bad.
No.
As I say that, he jumps.
Yeah.
away.
At least he jumps. I was getting mouthful open, head bobbing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's afraid of the camera.
That yeah.
I got like a ring light on it, and that
Okay.
seems to be
Oh,
freaking him out.
Oh,
Makes
that
okay.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, they are beautiful species though. I'm so he's definitely a wild caught, but I'm so happy that he at least has all his horns and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like really really scared of one of them falling off.
Well, it's mostly the females that are losing horns.
Losing horns, yeah. My female capper definitely lost hers, but they can lose them from like that freak out that he just had right now around me. That apparently they can lose them off just doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, knock on fake wood. Larry had incidents and he's still
Mhm.
two horns attached.
Yeah.
But it's like Inanna came in with both missing and Pickles lost one.
She had
yeah,
two,
okay.
but they were like banded already.
One was
So-
very,
Yeah.
very bent. And
Yeah.
she
He's
lost
got
one.
a
Yeah.
floppy one.
Yeah, he's got a floppy one
straight
too.
one and a floppy one. Okay.
See,
time
so
to go
look,
back.
he's firing up now. His color's changing. Let me try to grab him again.
Oh, bring him with the thing because it's the only way.
Oh. Sometimes.
I was gonna say I have him, but I don't have him.
Not
it's
anymore.
still here. It's still here.
So we started the show saying that they were calm and they play dead the moment you take them out of the terrarium, but
Nothing
Yeah.
at all.
Nothing
Nah.
about the pedogasters. But
Okay.
even with them, it takes time. When they're
up.
a wild caught, it takes time until they're that comfortable with you. But once they are, I mean, you saw hours, right? I was holding them for hours, and they have no problem.
yeah.
It's definitely all of my other ones that I've had for longer. Even like Cruella, who got her name for being crazy, and Bitey, I can pick her up and hold her now. I think it's like you're saying, it's just a matter of time. I think eventually he'll be not as crazy, hopefully, with me as well. I don't know how I'm going to take him downstairs again or get him out of my room now because he won't even go near me. But we'll figure that out after this. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're already at the 1 hour and a half mark. So maybe we'll start wrapping it up here. Does anyone have any final comments or
Last
advice, the last words that they want to throw out for all our lovely mountain horn dragon keepers?
JF, we're all waiting for eggs to hatch.
JF, we are waiting. That I agree.
I'm trying my best.
Put my name on the first female you see. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Think we need to have a talk with our ladies to, start digging.
Yeah, if it works, let me know what the secret is so I can have the same talk with my ladies.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to just send them all to a spa, get massages and hot tub baths, and maybe
Send
we
them
can get some
here.
like send them here. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Send,
exactly.
we'll send them to
And
JF so he can
yeah,
turn the water on for 10 minutes.
Something magical you're
maybe they need to
doing.
be on Quebec
So
soil.
yeah.
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 Awesome. Okay, well, everyone, to all our lovely mountain horn dragon keepers, and if you're not already a lovely mountain horn dragon keeper, I'm sure after listening to this, either we frustrated you and you're never keeping them again, or you're super interested. Um,
You also have to
regardless,
breed them. You can just keep them as pets, and then
that
they're way less
Exactly.
way
frustrated.
less. That's very true. That's very true. But regardless, we are going to try and do this as frequently as possible and keep you guys updated. So either it'll be like a every so often months, or it'll be like big things are happening right now. Let's just jump on it and that. But that being said, what I'm trying to say is you will see a lot more of these lovely mountain horn dragon keepers very very soon. And on that note, JF, can you let everyone know where they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Beauregaurd Reptiles. That's where I'm most active. I was told once that Facebook was for old people, but I never go there.
Wow.
I disagree. I'm trying to put myself back on Facebook and become more active on there. They're um, they're pushing to compete with Instagram and all the rest. So yeah, but anyway, so Instagram, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. And Eyal and Rebecca,
We are the responsible reptile. We're Googleable and we're Instagram, though not as active. I'm more active on my cooking account, which I do to afford the lizards.
yes, you could throw that in there too.
Mhm. It's Chef Beyond Gender. If you're into leftist politics and some food and lizards, and yeah, I'm on Facebook on the group that is very very good and educational. Uh, Mountain
Le-
Horn Dragons.
do you remember that I wanted to throw the exact name out, but is there
I have my
is
trusty phone here.
do you okay? Because I'm also looking it up on Facebook real quick. Yeah, if you're not already, if you are a mountain horn dragon keeper and you're not on this group, please do
You
join
should.
us. It's super super useful. I need to. I'm not.
Mountain
I'm not
Horn
great about
Dragons
being active.
info.
Mountain horn dragons info. There we go. I'm not as good at being active on there, but I'm gonna try my best to start being more active because I think that after this podcast, because obviously this podcast is the number one source for mountain horn dragon information. But after this podcast, the Facebook group is probably the best place to go. And it's not just Canadians; it's like keepers from all over the world. So it's
Mhm.
I think it's a super valuable piece of information. CJF, Facebook isn't just for old people. Get on there and get in that group.
Said the two old people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't have time with all the eggs that are cooking in my house. I got to take care of the eggs. Don't have time for Facebook.
Fair, fair.
Fair,
That's fair.
No,
absolutely
I'm
fair.
kidding.
That's a
Um,
priority. We need those Natalia babies. So forget
yeah.
Facebook. Focus on the eggs.
And Fatty, where can we find you other than all the Toronto plant and pet expos?
Yes, yes. Well, actually, that's a very good point. Are you guys coming out to the November 26th one?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
We
Well,
should.
I mean, it's like,
so
Yeah, we should. We'll
it's the
be
last
there.
one of the year. If you
am,
guys
am
have,
I
you
not
guys are
an
in the
addict?
area.
I
I
mean,
mean,
we'll
it's like
probably be
when
there.
when Greg from Beneath the Canopy is texting me, "Am I going to see you in this expo?" I'm like, "Is the sky
Well,
blue?"
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, perfect.
we
So
will be
yeah,
there.
JF try to come out as well. But yes, as JF said, you can find me at every expo in Ontario, all the reptile and plant expos, even the pet expos, and I'm on all social media platforms as Daffy's Reptiles and Daffy's Round Table. You're already listening to the podcast, so you already found it, but it's available on all streaming platforms. And on that note, thank you, JF, for helping me. And that on that note, thank you all very much for listening. See you on the next Acanthosaura Round Table for Mountain Horn Dragon lovers. I'm yeah, whatever. You know what the title is. See you all on the next one.